Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Another Parenting Perspective. This podcast talks about ways we can strengthen the parent child relationship through the process of parental evolution. I am Smriti Gopal, an educator, a conscious living coach, a conscious parenting coach, and a present moment awareness coach. I hope this podcast supports you as you go along parenting. This episode talks about how we can show up for our toddler and preschooler in ways that will not only strengthen the parent child connect, but will also provide them the space and the structure as needed by our children to flourish. So let's talk about how to show up for our toddler and our preschooler. Our children go through many planes of development according to Dr. Montessori. Each plane brings with it its own needs to be met. The way we show up for our children will be determined by these needs that our children have and also our own level of consciousness that we bring to each plane of development. I have noticed the comfort and the discomfort I experienced as our girls went through their planes of development. Different planes bring up different unhealed trauma in us. It provides us with another opportunity to heal them. That's why children are referred to as our mirrors. That's the foundation of the conscious parenting method and the foundation of this podcast as well. Keep the parental ego under check means see these unhealed parts and sit with them and provide them the space and care that they need for their healing. Here are some ways of being that can keep the parental ego under check and help us develop a strong parent-toddler or parent-preschooler connect. In this way, your child has a secure connection and now they are mostly free of obstacles for their unfolding. I say mostly because healing is not a destination to reach. It's a journey. On the parenting journey, as our children go from plane to plane, or even in the same plane from moment to moment, something comes up that needs our care. Being open to these moments and taking care of them is the path of conscious parenting. So let's talk about the ways of being that will help us with parenting a toddler or a preschooler. The first one is welcoming change. The only thing constant is change, and there is no exception in parenting a toddler or a preschooler. Our external and internal situation keeps on changing and we are called to show up to each of these changes. At first, this can be very frustrating. This frustration itself can be an invitation to work on our inner terrain. When we see our self-regulation, our inner balance has been thrown out of balance by change, when we see the changes as triggers, we could go inward. Going inward showed me that the triggers are not on the outside. These changes are activating some fears or assumptions that we may have within ourselves. Looking deeply into these can give us a lot of clarity and help us regain alignment in healthy and supporting ways. The next one is patience. The most important lesson I think I learned from this plane is patience. Even if we stand on top of our heads or bring the roof down, toddlers and preschoolers move and do things at their own pace. Any parent who has helped a child get ready for school before the bus arrives knows what I'm talking about. An extra challenge, which is time management, is added to the very simple daily tasks. The children seem to take some pleasure in purposefully slowing down the pace in which they do things. But in reality, they are doing it at their own pace. It is us who are in a big hurry. We are constantly saying, chop, chop, chop. Sooner or later, the child learns to ignore us and do it slowly anyways. And this enrages us and brings out the unconscious side of us. The point to note here is that there is a teaching moment. The child is not out to get us. They are simply doing their thing. We are just in a hurry and may have to look at managing time more effectively or letting go of some things that don't happen the way we want them to. This is where we need to look into our conditioning and belief systems. For example, when I went to school, this is like long time ago, it was a ritual that I drank a glass of milk before I went. Now, I liked drinking milk and it did not upset my stomach. So my parents' ideology that a child should drink a glass of milk in the morning was preserved. When my time to parent came, this ideology worked for my first daughter, but did not work for my second. I didn't even know I had this ideology until the situation got out of hand. Every morning was a challenge, a battle between the mother and daughter. I say, you must drink the milk, and my daughter resists. Until I asked the very crucial question to her, why not? And the answer she gave me was a very good explanation as to why it's time to let her be and look into my beliefs and habits. On introspecting and asking myself the same question, why do I want her to drink milk? Again, a wealth of insights, wrong notions, etc. One of which was that I wanted her to get calcium and thought milk was the only way that could happen. Once this situation was seen with clarity from both ends, light was thrown on all the other sources and ways we could come about bringing calcium into her diet, and this conflict resolved. I acted out and my daughter put up the fight bravely. Thank God she did, for if not, I still would not have learned my lesson. The next way of being is showing up in curiosity. Children, as we all know, are very curious. The questions come pouring. Even though it can be very irritating when the day is so packed, these questions are important and we all know that. So what do? Unpack the day? But how can we? We are bought into this dictates of society, culture, and we want our children to do and be everything on the face of this earth. This is where we need to stop and observe. What makes my child curious? What instills that sparkle in her eye? What questions is she asking? Does it look like she wants to further this curiosity? If yes, how can I provide an opportunity for her to go ahead? When we don't look into curiosity deeply, with the curiosity, we jump in and put them in structured classes. Of course, with very good intentions. But remember, based on cultural dictates. This kills the curiosity. I had a parent come to me and say, I don't know what's happening with my child. She was so interested in drawing. She would want to draw and color all the time. So I thought she can learn more and I put her in an art class. And now she cries to go to art class and I don't even see her drawing or coloring that much. Do you see the child's predicament? She was very simply being curious and enjoying the activity of coloring or drawing, feeling fully, joyfully relaxed performing it. But we parents have been conditioned to want more. Everything should become a course, a grade, and applauds or condemning. Why? Curiosity is an inborn aspect of the child. It is here for spontaneous self-learning to happen. Why are we stopping curiosity from performing its function by putting a structure to it, adding unnecessary value to an already invaluable aspect? Let curiosity be. We can see it, be in awe of it, but there is no need to add unnecessary value to it. In fact, we can learn to be curious too, or rather revive the curiosity in us. Curious about the child's curiosity, curious about their tantrums, their defiances, their emotional outbursts, their joy, their playfulness, etc. Being curious about the child can teach us a lot about the child. And curious about ourselves. Why did I lose it? What was the pain that situation touched? Was I projecting? What pattern am I enacting? This will give us a lot of information about ourselves. So, curiosity can be an extremely important way of showing up when we are parenting toddlers and preschoolers. The next one is playfulness. Children come into this world full of playfulness and unlimited possibilities. While play can teach a lot, not associating it with a doing for a particular outcome is what makes it fun. I'm reminded of the fun our girls would have building pillow castles, cooking with real ingredients in their pretend kitchen and utensils, collecting flowers, leaves, and grinding it into a paste, building sand castles. The list goes on. You may notice that when children are playing, they are not outcome oriented, they are process oriented. That's why they don't mind breaking the sandcastle a million times and building it again. In fact, the fun is when they build it and stomp it and build it and stomp it, and this goes on and on. Taking parenting seriously helps us show up authentically and the way our child needs us to show up. But parenting seriously takes the fun out of parenting. Parenting becomes serious when we live in the illusion that makes us believe that somehow we are building our child's life. They don't know, and we have to tell them everything we know. We have to get them someplace as prescribed by society and culture. So we start controlling, and that takes the fun out of parenting. When we do our inner work, we become clear about the truths that guide life. We shatter our beliefs and conditioning that don't serve us or our child, and we start living in the here and now. This brings a lightness into parenting. We no longer rule, but we aid the development of this child. We truly embody Khalil Gibran's poem, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable." Embodying this poem will bring playful energy into parenting and help us develop a very strong connect with our children. By welcoming change, by being patient, by being curious and playful, we are preparing an environment for the child to be able to unfold their true selves without any obstacles, so that the child can continue her mysterious mission of self-development. Thank you for listening. If what you just heard touched you, please share. You can follow me at Smriti Gopal on Instagram and YouTube, and on the Facebook page Formative Age or Equanimous Coaching. You can find out more about the work I do at www.formativeage.in or www.equanimouscoaching.com. Until next time, take that most needed pause to keep a check on the parental ego and stay present and alive to discoveries. Thank you and bye-bye.